efforts to revive the state's floundering tourism industry. However, the massive influx of visitors, said to be the equivalent to the number of people who flood the beaches on holidays like the 4th of July, has led to a huge spike in garbage being carelessly left behind. And that's forced authorities to launch a new crackdown on the litter bugs. Police have stated they will start focusing on litter violations in the days and weeks ahead in an effort to educate the public and mitigate, quote, this repulsive and disrespectful behavior, end quote. For most people across the world, the coronavirus pandemic and ensuing lockdown measures have been nothing short of ruinous. The Mind Unleashed reports that countless small and large businesses have faced bankruptcy, while in the United States, local government budgets are in shambles, while the unemployment rate is projected by Goldman Sachs to peak at 25%, rivaling or exceeding the worst moments of the Great Depression. Amid the unfolding economic catastrophe, the wealth gap between the average people and the ultra-rich has widened drastically. For mega billionaires like Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the planet, whose net worth is estimated at $143 billion, the health crisis has only made them richer. And now the Amazon founder is slated to likely become the world's very first trillionaire, according to business software comparison platform Comparison. The site's projection shows that Bezos is likely to achieve trillionaire status by 2026, when he will be 62 years old. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
His name is Osimo. Honda has unveiled its new human-like robot that the team says is designed to run a non-competitive half marathon and then smugly brag about it afterwards. Project leader Kenji Saito calls the robot very aggravating, adding, quote, "We knew how to create a robot that could run great distances at high speeds. The challenge was to build a bot that would be impressed with its own minor achievement. The robot even believes it could run a full marathon if it wanted to, but it's just doing this to stay in shape and have some fun.
If I wanted to, I probably could have played college football."
Aiming to make the android as realistically human as possible, scientists installed sensors to register derisive comments and eye rolls from annoyed coworkers as genuine interest in its self-centered blathering. The team noted that the irritating robot could be useful in medical fields as well. Already, Osimo has pestered scientists into sponsoring it to run a 5K in Cape Cod this summer. To date, it's raised over $700 for leukemia research.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Just dial toll free and take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the unusual experience of being able to give you a little bit of good news here tonight. With you in the studio, it's Ian,
the captain,
and Mark.
And welcome back, Mark. After a brief stint down to Florida, you're back for what, the summer in New Hampshire?
Pretty much.
Right.
I thought snowbirds are supposed to go to Florida in the winter.
Well, winter's just ending here.
I guess, yeah.
It only snowed like 3 or 4 days ago.
Not here in Keene.
There was a little bit.
You just weren't awake.
There were some flurries.
Yeah,
that's what we call snow. Snow, there's not rain flurries.
Well, I think that Captain Kickass knows a little bit about snow, given that he's from Wisconsin, where I imagine it gets a little bit colder than it does here.
Well, it's hard to tell because in Wisconsin, everybody's a big booze hound, so they stay
because
warm.
you warmed up because of the booze.
Yeah.
And now there's good news out of Wisconsin that we're actually going to start the show with tonight, Captain Kickass. Apparently, the Supreme Court has ruled the lockdowns are unconstitutional or illegal or what?
Overturned it, and that evening, the bars were packed.
Amazing.
I was considering maybe calling in tonight and purchasing a plane ticket to fly in and spend the weekend just so I could go to a freaking bar and have a beer again. Because, well, I mean, you know, bars are near and dear to my heart for many a reason. Not only did I grow up in Wisconsin where bars are part of the culture, like no matter what your religion is, no matter, you know, it is an embedded part of the culture. So there's that portion of it. And then, of course, you're spending 20 plus years as a musician. Well, you spend all of your weekends in the bars and dealing with people who work at bars, and your friends are people who work at bars, and even the musicians themselves work at bars and that kind of a thing. So it's a pretty big part of my life. And so to not only me personally sort of have that ripped away, but all of my musician friends and, you know, then of course all my family and friends back in the Wisconsin area sort of have that ripped away. You know, a guy feels for them, you know, I get a bit of sympathy or empathy for him. So it's nice to see that not only was it overturned, but then instantly everybody's like, yeah, let's go to the bar.
Right. I'm very glad that it was overturned by the Supreme Court, because I think this is really an important thing, is that I get that everybody was scared when this all started. I was scared when this all started. But
I wasn't scared about it. Who cares?
That's because you don't care about death. I mean, you'll just die.
I mean, it's inconvenient.
Death is inconvenient?
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, if you have things to do, it's inconvenient if you die.
No, it's not.
It kind of gets in the way of your other
It's not
plans.
inconvenient. You're just dead. Like, your to-do list will still exist when you're dead, and you won't think about it. You're just dead.
Okay. Well, that's your interpretation.
Okay. I'd hate to think that I spend the rest of eternity worried about the to-do list that I didn't get fulfilled when I'm dead. By the way, great series from Amazon Prime called Upload. They've got the first season out, and
I've heard mixed reactions on that.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I tend to not be very difficult when it comes to watching stuff, but this is a person who has, you know, this is a world in the future where your consciousness is replicated from your brain and put onto computers. And in this case, they're put onto these simulated environments that you pay for.
Okay.
And it goes from there. And it's fascinating. Very good. And at this point, actually, these simulated environments don't allow you to work. But you could, presumably. And they haven't explored the world where you're allowed to work too much yet.
Interesting.
They're basically got you in a giant hotel. But anyway, so going on. People were scared when this all sort of happened, and I was scared when it all sort of happened, and I get that. But what we need to understand, this country was made great by people who had liberty. At least more liberty than we have now.
Right.
Sure.
And that what happened was somebody said a virus was going to be bad. And I'm not saying it wasn't going to be bad. I'm just saying that right now, what the results are probably not as bad as we all imagined. I frankly don't know anybody who has died from this. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not real, and it doesn't mean that somebody listening doesn't know 3 people who died from it. I'm just saying I personally do not know anybody. And, you know, the end result is, well, next year what's going to happen? Because now all somebody has to do, somebody with some cred, somebody with some letters behind their name.
Or a lab coat.
Or whatever, a lab coat and a stethoscope, has to get on TV and say, yep, it's going to be terrible. This is the
precedent
big one.
has been set by all of these actions that have been taken because no politician wanted to be wrong. So everybody erred on the side of caution overly.
Right. But that caution was in all likelihood unconstitutional.
Yes,
right?
Very much so.
So when you're shutting down a church, you know that you've stepped over the line, right? If America is about one thing, it's the freedom of religion. This country was founded by religious kooks who came over and said, I can't live here anymore with you people and your crazy rules and your mixed up, dumb, wrong religion. I have to get out of here. And they picked up stakes and they went on a ride that many of them would not survive in order to come to stake claim in a land which would
But they also wouldn't survive.
Right. Also, many of them wouldn't survive to finally build a nation where they could fight about their religions amongst each other.
Well, not so much, but like agree to have the right to have different religions.
It took them many decades.
Well, that's the understanding that I think at least most people my age had growing up, was that, hey, one of the great things about America, quote unquote, is that you can have whatever religion you want
today.
Yes,
yeah, that's true, right? Like the street you live on, there's a bunch of people with a bunch of different religions, and they all somehow don't try to burn each other at the stake. But it took a long time, even in the United States, for that to happen.
Sure.
The Puritans killed the Quakers. The Catholics were stuck in Maryland. Yeah, it was a whole big mess. And I think we need to, as a country, come together on the notion that while we were scared, and being scared is okay, and while we made a mistake, and making mistakes is okay, we made a mistake.
What was the mistake?
It can't happen again. To allow politicians to take away everyone's freedom, healthy people, to quarantine healthy people. It's never been done before that I know of in the history of mankind. You can give suggestions. And I think, there's some great suggestions out there. I like the ideas of masks. I like the idea of doing away with handshaking.
I don't.
I understand. Yeah, like that's it. But, handshaking's a two-person thing, and you can't shake the hand if somebody doesn't want to,
you don't
right?
want to do it, that's fine.
So
it's your body, you do what you want with it.
I think there's a lot of things that we can learn from this, but one of the things that I think that's desperately important that we need to learn from this is that you can't lock down the country. You can't give them the power.
Apparently they can.
Well,
and they did.
They can and they did, and that's a real problem.
I'm not convinced that they're ever letting go. Right.
Well, they're not going to do it willingly.
Well,
no.
The way that a compliant person doesn't get their freedom.
Well, they don't want it.
They haven't demonstrated that they wanted it. Right.
They got what they deserve.
History shows again and again and again the compliant people don't get their freedom. It's people who are willing to stand up in whatever manner they stand up. Look, I don't think it's the greatest idea in the world to walk into the State House with long guns, but
apparently
this country was built by people willing to walk into government buildings with long guns.
Seems like a pretty good tactic, actually. MSN and Bloomberg reporting that Michigan actually canceled their legislative session because of an armed protest possibility.
Right. There was a protest planned. I don't know if I believe the protest was carried out.
I think it did, yeah.
But they were going to protest while the politicians were in the
session,
building. Yeah, in session.
So they canceled the session.
And what happened during their last protest was all the armed people showed up and they made their way into like the balconies and stuff.
Yeah,
and that kind of and like some of the politicians were wearing like bulletproof vests and things because they were afraid, as they should be.
Like your government being afraid of you is a good thing.
That's right.
Yes. People should not fear their governments. Governments should fear their people.
Indeed. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. So we're going to find out what happened in Wisconsin. Is it all over? Is the lockdown completely undone by this court decision? Or is there still some sort of mandatory reopening guidelines? What's it actually look like? Are the bars open, but are they forcing people to sit 6 feet away from each other? What's the situation there? If you're in Wisconsin or anywhere else you want to join us, you can.
If you're attacked by a bear, a dog will throw himself into the mouth of the bear to save you. Dogs are dogs. They pour out their love onto you. Before long, you can't live without them. I have a chocolate cocker spaniel named Lady and a blackmouth cur. He's about 120 pounds, and his name is Arlo. My little cocker, her coat's as soft as a stuffed animal. They're both real soft coats, and my dogs don't have any health problems because they're eating what they need to eat.
DINOVITE.com.
Dynavite is like pouring a multivitamin right onto their food.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
We'll be scooping our Dynavite onto the food, then squirting the liquor chops and the fish oil. They start salivating.
Dynavite is nutrition.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
It's a lot of responsibility owning a dog. I get my Dynavite at DINOVITE.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, dial, toll free. Join us here if you want to get on the radio and talk about whatever's on your mind. You can do that. Take control of the airwaves. The number's 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat currency like the dollar in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new Divvy wallet launches because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at DivvyProject.org. DIVIproject.org. So, Captain Kickass, you brought in some really good sounding news, and I don't know any of the details. I saw a couple of the headlines, and I thought, wow, that sounds pretty promising. Wisconsin, which is your home state.
Yep, I was born there. Grew up there.
You haven't probably lived there in quite a long time, but that is where you grew
over
up.
20 years. Yeah.
It looks like they may be heading up some of the resistance there, at least to some extent, against these lockdowns, with a surprising rebuff coming from the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. Tell me what happened.
Well, I mean, all I know is that the Supreme Court did overturn the ruling. They said that the governor didn't have the authority to do what he did, and therefore it's thrown out the window.
Now, this is a Democratic governor, from what I understand.
Yes.
Okay.
And if a governor doesn't have the authority to do a lockdown, then nobody does. The president didn't.
Right.
Certainly. Martial law has not been declared as many times as they can say that this is a war on corona. Yeah.
It's been my contention that none of these politicians had the authority to do any of this. For whatever reason, everybody complied with it anyway.
Well, I think that like right now you can comply with the lockdown. Largely, I am not going out, but then again, I can't.
You didn't ever anyway. You just kind of stayed at home anyway.
Right. I mean, I've been social distancing for 10 years now.
As a lifestyle, basically.
Right. I mean, do I go to bars now and then? Do I go to restaurants? Yeah, I like to go to restaurants.
Yeah, me too.
But, I don't work in an office, in a cubicle like I used to, and which, by the way, and I don't go to school. My son was going to school, but I got to say those things are terrible viral cesspools. Thank God they've got those things locked down.
So this article was from the Washington Post that I brought in, and it just goes into, on Wednesday night, just hours after the Wisconsin Supreme Court threw out the state stay-at-home order, Nick's on Second, that's a bar, was packed wall-to-wall, standing room only.
Love it.
It was sometime after 10 p.m. when long, cool woman in a black dress by the Hollies came over the sound system, and a bartender took out his camera. In a Twitter broadcast, he surveyed the room of maskless patrons crammed together, partying like it was 2019.
All right.
A few were pounding on the bar to the beat. Some were clapping their hands in the air. Some were fist pumping. A scene so joyous they could have been celebrating the end of the worst pandemic in a century.
Wow.
Instead, as Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers, Democrat, knew, they were just celebrating the apparent end of his power over them, at least for now. We're the Wild West, Evers told in MSNBC's Ali Velshi on Wednesday, reacting to the state Supreme Court's ruling and the scenes of people partying in bars all across Wisconsin. There are no restrictions at all across the state of Wisconsin. So at this point in time,
really,
there's nothing that's compelling people to do anything other than having chaos here, which,
chaos.
Chaos it was.
That's what we're calling whatever existed
before,
prior to COVID-19 is chaos.
Right after.
I mean, this is.
Yeah, it's.
I'm
surprised they didn't use the A word there, right?
This is why. Reporters, this is why America hates you. Because you will write crap like this.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrible story. I mean, it's a great story in the information
writing,
but like the author is obviously very biased and also, spewing the views from the politician's point of view.
Chaos? God,
it's not, and they're actually going to get more into it in just a second. Right after the Supreme Court's conservative majority issued a 4-3 ruling invalidating the extension of the stay-at-home order issued by Evers-appointed state health chief, the Tavern League of Wisconsin, most states I don't think have a Tavern League. Yeah, the Tavern League of Wisconsin instructed its members to feel free to, quote, and all caps, open immediately. So the League of Taverns, like, as soon as it happened, they're like emailing everybody, calling everybody, open your doors, people, go back to business. So with Evers' statewide orders kaput, local health authorities scrambled to issue or extend citywide or countywide stay-at-home orders, creating a hodgepodge of rules and regulations all across the state that are bound to cause confusion, not to mention some traffic across county lines.
So, just to be clear, the governor, the top, dog or whatever in the state, ordered people to stay home, ordered a lockdown against businesses, ordered this and that. All of that's been overturned by the Supreme Court. And what do? The little tyrants go out and issue their own orders.
Well, so
first thing.
So, and of course,
they can't.
This is how
they did.
This is how the micro tyrants work, though, right?
Yeah.
So it's, the top down, right? And so everybody feels like they're a miniature version of the guy above them, right?
Right. So even though the guy above them got slapped down by the Supreme Court, they just went right ahead and did their own thing and issued similar orders to
mayors and county leaders and that type of a thing. We're like, well, okay, it's not.
Well, if he didn't have the authority, I do.
Right. I'm the leader of this particular geographic area inside of a much larger geographic area, and so I'm saying that my territory doesn't follow those rules.
Well, okay, so how many people of these restaurants after they threw their doors open in excitement after the Supreme Court said, all right, well, we're overturning this. Then when the local health board or whatever bureaucrat, town mayor, said, no, we are locking things down here in Wausau or whatever, we're locking it down in Madison. How many of them then closed their doors obediently and said, oh, boo, I guess we're not open yet.
I'm guessing none.
Okay.
I'm guessing all of the bars were like, woohoo! And then if any city or any authorities, at the city or the county level or a town level were like, oh, no, you can't do. I bet you they were just like, sorry, pal, we're open.
We're open.
Shut me
down if you want to.
How many times can you shut me down and open me back up is really the question. It's one thing when it's just sort of like, hey, here it is, the impending doom, the storm clouds are coming, but this whole there's going to be a resurgence, so we got to be prepared. No, we don't have to be prepared. And if there's a resurgence, we'll deal with it the same way we've dealt with viruses for as long as humans have been around.
I want to bring Val on the line here. She's in Delaware. Val, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, thank you.
Hi.
I am a veteran. I was in a very sensitive capacity. I was an intelligence agent in a nuclear missile unit on the Czechoslovakian border.
So like turning the keys kind of thing? Like you were one of the ones that like would turn the keys in the little panel?
No, I wouldn't do that. That's where 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue comes in.
Okay.
What were you calling about tonight, Val?
I'm calling about the idea that they're not, or maybe not, considering all the factors that could play a role in this.
Who's they?
There are big countries that want to take over the world. I don't know if they've watched too many cartoons or what, but in any event, they may have gotten their heads together, and I know that they are forgetting one little bitty factor.
All right, sounds like a conspiracy theory. Hang on, Val. We'll let you tell your story or your theory or whatever it is here in moments. 855-450-FREE allows you to join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
The Reverend Captain Kickass.
And Mark.
And I want you to check out Bitcoin.com. Why? Because it's about time that you start learning about cryptocurrency. When's the better time going to be than when you got a little extra on your hands?
Yeah, now is a great time, and Bitcoin.com is the place to go.
It's a great place to get started. And also, if you're not new to cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, then you can get some of the latest news headlines there on their news site at news.bitcoin.com. They do a really great job of following all kinds of things in the world of cryptocurrency at news.bitcoin.com. As we go back to the phones here, Val is on the line in Delaware. Val, you're back on Free Talk Live. I'm not sure what you were trying to get at a moment ago. It sounded a little conspiratorial. What were you trying to share?
Well, I'm getting at the point here is, have people considered, why is this happening now? And
why is what happening
Part
now?
of the reason is because these communists want to take over the world.
Who does?
And they don't want it destroyed.
Val,
Communists.
who? Communists?
Yes.
Okay. So just to clarify,
they don't want to do it.
Is Donald Trump a communist?
I'm sorry to say it again.
Is Donald Trump one of the communists?
Perhaps.
Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Okay. His father-in-law is.
All right.
In any event, he's not helping anything. And my point here is that we are overlooking a possibility, and I did my homework, and I have provided useful intel for global security in military and now in civilian life. And I think Libya needs to be looked at, considering years ago when he was having a caravan with his family members.
Who?
Libya?
It's the pronouns that are getting me here, Val. It's the he and the they and that sort of thing.
She said Libya. Did you say Libya?
But she said Libya he. Who is he?
Muammar Gaddafi.
Muammar Gaddafi. Great. Now.
Okay. Now, if you'll listen to me.
I'm trying to listen. I need to understand, though.
You're not, because you're not intel, but people out there that may, I hope this gets to them. I couldn't even get to a school board member. I didn't go through what I went through and passed.
Well, we're not going to have time to get into all whatever you went through.
I'm not, but
I just want to say this, Val. It sounds like you're trying to get the message out about something. You're saying that maybe Mark can't understand because he's not intel. We have to understand that most of our listeners are probably not intel. They're probably just average folks who are listening to the radio.
Will assess this. and think about it, and it could stop.
Well, we
this
don't even
in
know
its
what you're
tracks.
talking about, and you haven't been really
I'm
clear
talking-
at all.
Well, because you keep interrupting me.
Okay, go ahead. Spit it out.
Okay.
You've got
Okay.
20 seconds. Sum it up.
Years ago, he's communist. He's in a little country in Africa. They were on a convoy vacation with his family, and it was known, and we went for a hit, and we got a hit, only missed him, and got either his wife or his wife and daughter, and that didn't set well. And if he's no longer with us, his cronies are very loyal, and they have a lot to provide. So what I'm saying is that they could be involved, and they have an antidote, and they're not going to stop.
Okay. Well, I got to say, I'm not really concerned with what Libya is going to do or what they have planned, whether they have an antidote or whether they're involved, because it's not Libya who is threatening people with violence where I live. It's not Libya or whoever is in charge over there, right, after Gaddafi got iced.
Nobody.
Nobody's in charge?
Not really.
He lives next door.
Pope nobody lives next door.
So I'm sorry. I'm just, color me unconcerned. Thank you, Val, for the call tonight.
I will say this, right? Like, she's correct that there are people that wish to rule the world, and some have done a better job of pulling that off, and others. Lots of people have talked about this being a biological weapon. Everything that I read in the news suggests that it is not.
Yeah, it's kind of a crappy one if that was what,
Yeah, it's really not a good biological weapon. Everything that I read in the news suggests that, in fact, it comes from bats, that bats have lots of coronaviruses, and that COVID-19 is from the, SARS-CoV-2 strain or whatever, and that it's probably from bats.
Or H3N2 or whatever it is. It's the H and N named convention.
We got Jill. She's on the line in Richmond, Virginia, listening to WNTW. Jill, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
Hi, Jill.
In Virginia, the governor was clamping down. He said that he moved it back the time that the state could open up. And then he finally said, all right, yesterday, this Friday. And then the mayor of Richmond, he started clamping down for another 2 weeks, he said. This is so ridiculous. But anyway, who knows what's going to happen next. And then, you know what else? The senator or former Senator Tim Kaine. Senator Tim Kaine was on the radio one time, and he was making some remarks about capitalists would be better advised to. They would be better advised if they would look more long range, and that would be better way to do for them to succeed, or some such stuff as this. And I thought of telling him, only I didn't manage to get through, that those people, businessmen, do not need Tim Kaine or any other politician to tell them how to do their job.
Absolutely.
Amen.
If they were any good at doing something, they'd go and get a productive job. And I mean they, meaning the politicians. They'd go and do something valuable with their time and their lives instead of just trying to tell everybody what to do. They didn't earn their positions in any legitimate manner. They were just foisted upon us in this insane system that we've all grown up with, that we're supposed to believe is somehow beneficial to us, when the fact is it just aggregates more control to people like this Tim Kaine guy that you're talking about. Didn't he run for president once or something like that? That name sounds familiar.
Oh, let's see. He was the governor of the state at one time.
I see.
I think he was mayor of Richmond.
Maybe that's why I've heard of him, because he was a governor on the air there.
I don't remember that he ran for president. He may have tried to do it.
Well, as usual, Jill, you're spot on. Is there anything else you want to share with us tonight?
Well, I guess I've said what I had to say this time.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate hearing from you. Let's go to Graham. He's in Erie, Pennsylvania. Graham, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello.
Yeah, I called last weekend about buying silver at a store despite the coronavirus shutdown in my state.
Yeah, I remember that. We were asking you to call back if you were able to actually go to the store and walk in and purchase anything. Did that happen?
Yeah, I was able to today.
Nice. Tell us.
I went into a local store that buys and sells silver and jewelry. I asked them, if they were open, that type of stuff. I had to have the mask on, and they had like little makeshift plastic barriers between the customer and the store clerk.
Jeez.
So all told and settled, it took like 10, 15 minutes for the transaction to be completed.
That sounds like a long time.
Yeah, is that normal?
Yeah,
Or is that longer than
why would it take
normal?
so long? Was there a line of people in front of you?
No. It was only 2 people at a time. Only 2 customers at a time are allowed in the store.
So they did have some additional restrictions. Not only did you have to wear the mask, but then they only allowed 2 people in at the time.
Now, what would have happened if you'd have said, no thanks, I'm not going to wear a mask?
I couldn't have bought silver.
Why?
They wouldn't have let me in.
Really? Are you
Because
sure?
of fears of the coronavirus spreading. That's what they said.
Interesting. Because I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not interested in wearing a mask, and I am going to tell people that I have an objection, either religious or medical, and see what they say. And if they still don't want my business, well, I'll go buy silver from somewhere else. But Graham, thanks for your call, man. Thanks for the update. Appreciate it. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. People, I think, need to push back about this. If you don't want to live in this, medical authoritarian state, then you got to stand up and refuse to go along with these so-called orders. 855-450-FREE, or policies that businesses are now making based on their belief that these orders are legitimate. And you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. You can share your thoughts with us here on Free Talk Live's Live Saturday show.
Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading diseases and germs. Protect your food and your health with Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic, no batteries required. Only $39.95. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
You know what's really smart?
Wash your hands frequently, practice social distancing, and stay home if told to do so.
You know what's really dumb?
To ignore your immune system.
Right now, more than ever, your health depends on a strong immune system.
The experts at Immunocorp will give you their 7-step guide to immunity for life, free.
Why? Because we want you to be smart and healthy.
Simply call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com.
Immunocorp has been producing the world's leading immune system products for more than 2 decades.
To get your free 7-step guide to immunity for life, call 800-446-3063. 800-446-3063.
Be smart. Don't ignore your immune system. Your life depends on it.
Call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com. Immunityforlife.com.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Researchers have definitively concluded that all of it, is some kind of sick joke. The Princeton study suggests that the entirety of existence, including time, marriage, migratory patterns of birds, continental drift, life itself, photosynthesis, human society, and the changing of the seasons, are all part of a massive, twisted ruse orchestrated by a spiteful cosmos.
Look at you morons, taking this stupid video for your pointless newspaper. Everything's a joke. I'm a joke, you're a joke, the whole universe is a joke.
We at the Onion Week in Review are compelled to inform viewers that while this entire segment is indeed one small part of the giant perverse joke, the upshot is that the next minute of your life will be no more or less pointless than if you were to spend it with a loved one, mentoring an at-risk youth, or simply wallowing in your own feculence. In other news, Harley Davidson and Jack Daniels collaborate on a local felony. A churchgoer blanks on why she's lighting a votive candle. And please ring the bell and the boy will come round momentarily for your bags. For more news, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. A little bit of good news from Wisconsin. It looks like apparently the Supreme Court there overturned like all of the lockdown-related stuff.
Yeah, so they basically said, we're not going to continue it. It's against our state's constitution or something.
Which is awesome because the counter story to that was, I think it was a week or so ago, we talked about the Supreme Court in the United States will not lift the Pennsylvania governor's shutdown order. So apparently the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania said these orders are totally fine. They appealed that to the Supreme Court of the United States, and they refused to hear the case, which basically upholds the lower court's decision.
Well, and what was it that happened here in New Hampshire? Didn't somebody try to put this suit together, and the New Hampshire court was like, nope, we're not going to hear it?
No. What happened here was very early on. It was like 2 months ago. So it was right in the beginning of this. There was a Free Stater Liberty guy who's an attorney. His name's Dan Hines. He's also a former state rep.
Right.
He filed the case on behalf of, I believe, 3 individuals, one of whom I believe is the head of the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, if I recall correctly. But anyway, he filed this case and lost at the district court level, or superior court level, whichever court it was heard in.
Yeah.
He lost at that level, and they chose not to appeal.
Oh, okay. So they could have appealed. Wow, that's interesting.
You'll have to ask Dan what his reasoning for it is. Usually, unless a case is
I just bring that up because I wanted to highlight, we'll call it the chaos, but like when you get different states doing different things, I mean, that's kind of the idea behind having different states is that, if you don't like how things are in one area, you can go to another area where things are, that kind of thing. Things are supposed to be different. It's not supposed to be homogenous.
That's true.
It's not all supposed to be, the federal government rules over every state and every state does what the federal government says they're supposed to do, which is what has been happening. We've been seeing this monkey see, monkey do attitude. One state does something, that's their reaction to COVID-19, and then all of the other states follow suit immediately after.
Yeah, and of course the media is trying to make this Wisconsin story sound like, it's just political. And maybe it was. I don't know. Apparently it's a Democratic governor.
It is.
And I don't know how the political viewpoint is of the Supreme Court members there, but I think they're suggesting that maybe they were like Republican appointed or something like that.
Well, and Governor Evers in this article says that he fears that the court order would cause the one thing he was trying to prevent, more death. Maybe not in the long run. People get cirrhosis of the liver and that kind of from drinking too much.
Right. Well, I mean, this is the bulwark against which the pro-lockdown people are hiding. Right. Like this, they're hiding behind this. Yeah. If it saves only one life. Well, what about people's livelihoods at the same time?
They don't care about that.
What about their mental health?
And what about that?
Well, I think they do care about it. It's just that they're lying, right? Like when they say they're out to save a life, they're not.
Right.
They're saying that this is a political football and our team has chosen this particular course of action. And that's what's really destructive here is that you should be able to do what you want to do to defend your health and to do what you want with your business without having to be like, I'm pro-Trump or I'm against Trump. Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
And where were all these people caring so much when the flu season came around for, every year for, however long humanity's been around?
I have turned my opinion on the flu.
Yeah?
So what was your opinion on the flu?
It's not that, 30 to 70,000 people die per year by the flu.
Right. That's not an opinion.
That's what well, yes, it is.
Is it?
It's the opinion of the Center for Disease Control.
Okay.
But I've read an article that...
Isn't that an estimate?
It's an estimate,
okay.
Yeah. I read an article by they do some testing and then they extrapolate from there how many people died of the flu.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article by a doctor who said, I've only had one person die from the flu on my watch. So that doctor doesn't think that nearly as many people are dying from the flu as they're saying. That in fact, it's not that the number, like COVID-19 is just now reaching the numbers that the flu kills in a given is just recently reached it. Yeah, it's above it, but just recently above it. But
we've also seen their numbers
were probably
up.
BS from the beginning.
Of course they are.
Okay.
Yeah, we've talked about that the whole time, that they're essentially blown up those numbers big time.
But they're blowing up the flu numbers is what I mean.
I'm talking about the COVID-19 numbers are blown up big time.
I've looked at the excess death numbers and run them alongside of the COVID numbers, and I will agree with you that a certain amount of people, but not even half.
But we agree that everybody is basically using the CDC numbers at this point, right? As far as the number of deaths.
For flu,
right.
Yes,
for flu
I just think they're wrong.
COVID. And I believe both numbers are incorrect in some way, shape, or form. But they're the measuring stick of everybody at this point. So my point is that all these people who are like, if it only saves just one life, where were they when they had the flu and they had to go to the grocery store to pick up their flu medicine and spread it around to everybody? It's a guilt trip is all it is, and I'm tired of it.
Let's talk to Jerry. He's in Reno, Nevada. Jerry, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Yes,
how are you doing?
Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Hey, in regards to one of you gentlemen, I forgot which one, stated that he does not like wearing a mask, and I fit the bill there. I have not worn a mask and will not. And
I just want to clarify. I have not worn a mask. Not that I don't like it. I imagine I wouldn't like it, but I've never actually tried it, and I'm not going to do it.
I just got a really cool biker's mask for pollution. It's very comfortable, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, well, whatever. Go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead and share with your thoughts on this.
Okay, thank you. I went to a rally or a protest here in Reno, Nevada, about a week or so ago, and a lady was kind enough to give me a flyer. And let me quickly just try to read 2 or 3 sentences.
All right.
How it states, I'm exempt from all regulation mandating face mask usage in public. Wearing a face mask poses a health risk to me. Under the ADA and HIPAA, I am not required to disclose my medical condition to anyone. And then it goes on to give a Department of Justice ADA violation 1-800 number. And then it gives the fines for violations of those orders. And I agree with you, gentlemen, when you definitely said it takes away from our constitutional rights.
Yeah, I think that the constitutional rights took a real blow this year, and that the only way that we can claw back some of them, because they never, once they're gone, they tend to, when the government expands, you don't get the whole thing back. And I like to use prohibition. Now we have licensing of you can't distill liquor in your house.
Not legally.
Not in many states.
Right.
And you can't before the TSA, remember when you used to go meet people coming out of the airplane at the terminal
right
door?
At the terminal and be able to wave by.
Yeah, it was really a cool part of going to get somebody from the airport, and that just doesn't happen
Or dropping
anymore.
somebody off. You got like a kid or something, you can take them right up to the terminal.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't do that anymore.
Right.
In fact, they were even, Mark, talking about banning in what are they going to do to stop this in the future? They were talking about prohibiting anyone from even coming into the airport who doesn't have business there. So you wouldn't even be able to walk in and go to the ticket counter with, your kid or whatever, right? Like you'd have to stay outside. That's one of the things they're proposing. But Jerry, I'm with you on this. And that flyer that you're talking about, I think we saw a copy of that. It was floating around one of the chat groups, the activist chats here in this area.
Yeah, a couple different versions have surfaced, and they all basically say the same thing that Jerry said. So I think they're consistent.
I'll say this. I don't care for HIPAA. I don't care for government, mandates and federal rulings or whatever. It's the flyer sort of cites these federal this and that protections and all this. I don't care about all that stuff. I think that I'd rather see the federal government disappear. But as long as they're going to be trying to impose some sort of authoritarian scheme, I don't think there's anything wrong with citing their own rules and saying, oh yeah, well, this authoritarian thing over here says that I can wear this mask. So whatever it takes to be able to live your life to some normalcy, I think is worth doing. And Jerry, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
And don't forget, in this country, you still have the right to peaceably assemble.
Yes, you do, although they've been arresting people for that in some places.
Yeah, gathering in more than 10 people and all that kind of thing. I just want to make it clear, my point on the mask. I'm not wearing one. I don't think it's necessary. The information that I've read suggests that even the scientists disagree on whether it's effective or not, particularly the cloth ones. I'm not talking about the N95s. I just want to be clear that if you want to wear one, wear one.
Go for it.
But if you're wearing one because you've been required to by your government, then I disagree with you.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with people wearing masks. Like when I was in Tokyo, it's not uncommon there. In Asian countries, it's something that people do relatively regularly.
I think wearing masks is a great idea, but I will quote Sam Adams here. If you like it because you're being forced to do it, may your chains rest lightly upon you.
Indeed. Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,736, silver at $16.14, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,758. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/freekratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, President Donald Trump on Thursday announced that he believes a coronavirus vaccine will be ready by the end of the year. Once the vaccine is ready, the president intends to deploy the military to distribute the vaccine on a mass scale to most of the entire country. Activists Post reports it comes on the heels of learning that several states plan to deploy the National Guard to assist in their contract tracing programs. President Trump's Operation Warp Speed has a goal of making 100 million doses of vaccine against COVID-19 available by November, 200 million by December, and 300 million by January 2021. Meanwhile, several of the states are calling on the National Guard to assist their contract tracing programs, and the training has already begun, but they say the function is not a law enforcement role. Instead, the National Guard will be seen as a public health service. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. As states across the United States start to relax quarantine measures, beachgoers in Florida left an estimated 13,000 pounds of trash strewn across one beach this past weekend, according to a report from The Hill. The Mind Unleashed reports that Florida's beaches, which reopened on April 21st, have also been the center of the state's efforts to revive the state's floundering tourism industry. However, the massive influx of visitors, said to be the equivalent to the number of people who flood the beaches on holidays like the 4th of July, has led to a huge spike in garbage being carelessly left behind. And that's forced authorities to launch a new crackdown on the litter bugs. Police have stated they will start focusing on litter violations in the days and weeks ahead in an effort to educate the public and mitigate, quote, this repulsive and disrespectful behavior, end quote. For most people across the world, the coronavirus pandemic and ensuing lockdown measures have been nothing short of ruinous. The Mind Unleashed reports that countless small and large businesses have faced bankruptcy, while in the United States, local government budgets are in shambles, while the unemployment rate is projected by Goldman Sachs to peak at 25%, rivaling or exceeding the worst moments of the Great Depression. Amid the unfolding economic catastrophe, the wealth gap between the average people and the ultra-rich has widened drastically. For mega billionaires like Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the planet, whose net worth is estimated at $143 billion, the health crisis has only made them richer. And now the Amazon founder is slated to likely become the world's very first trillionaire, according to business software comparison platform Comparison. The site's projection shows that Bezos is likely to achieve trillionaire status by 2026, when he will be 62 years old. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
People love photography. But when we thought about photography, we realized one thing. Humans are limited to looking at photos with our eyes. That's a problem, right? So we made an app, PicSong, the first program that turns your photos into music if you want to do that for some reason. It puts the power in your hands. You get to decide why you need this. I can't tell you why you need this. It's not my job. Who is this app for? Maybe it's for students, or artists, or blind people. But can it turn your music into photos? No, it can't. Do you get to keep the original photo? No, it gets deleted. Always back up your photos before using PicSong.
This is the Onion News Network.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You're invited to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We started out with a little bit of good news out of Wisconsin that the Wisconsin Supreme Court has overturned the lockdown, and apparently there are no more governor's orders in place because I guess they overturned all of them, is the way it sounded from that
That's what
story.
it sounds like.
So that's really great. Is Wisconsin the only state of the 50 states that is as free right now as we've been describing? Or are there others that maybe we just haven't caught wind of or haven't made the same stir on a national level? I know that I think it was last night that one of the callers from Arkansas, I was listening to the Marianas edition of the show with Vin and Alex, and regular caller from Arkansas says they never had a lockdown in Arkansas.
Right.
They had restrictions as far as like restaurants and the bars, like the typical you can't open kind of restrictions, but there was not a you have to stay at home order in place.
So you couldn't go to a bar and hang out and have a beer.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
But you weren't locked down in the same way that the other states had said to people you have to stay home.
So different states did this lockdown thing differently.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't live my life any differently except I couldn't go to restaurants that weren't open.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you couldn't get a haircut if you wanted.
Right, I couldn't get one because my barber is shut. I did get a haircut. I took my mom's dog clippers, and I did my own.
Hope you cleaned them first.
They've been around a long time. I had my hair cut by those that probably the same old thing in my youth. I don't know. I mean, it had a toggle switch on the back. It's nothing like you get at Walmart.
Well, I've got a little bit more
lights dim in the house.
Good news coming up here about that guy that got arrested, the megachurch pastor in Tampa. We'll give you an update on that story. There's a little bit of good news there. But first, let's go back to your phone calls and thoughts. Mike is in Gold Bar, Washington, listening to KBKW. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, it's Mike in Gold Bar. Hey, Captain.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Remember in the old days, like Leave It to Beaver, they would say, here, Wally, here's a piggy bank, and I'm going to give you $1 to get you started. You could save for a car. So, Captain, I'm gonna give you something to start your parody piggy bank. You ready for this? Now, think of Barry Manilow, Copacabana.
Okay.
This is serious stuff. You could make this happen. In my COVID bandana.
Nice. I like it.
All kinds of germs and stuff smeared in my COVID bandana.
Nice. Thanks,
Mike. That's free, Captain.
He's
That's
using
free.
a pen right
That's
now. No, you're typing something on your phone right now.
I am. I'm typing.
No, but
more calls from. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thank goodness for craft beers. You guys have a great
Thanks
evening.
for the call, man. I appreciate
Mike, you're
it.
awesome. Thanks, man.
Funny.
And I know nobody had come up with another line to "We're just gonna take it." He's been working on that. So
right.
I actually had another idea for a Barry Manilow parody of Copacabana. It was if anybody's a G.I. Joe fan here, it was to just turn that into Cobra Commander, right?
But you have to do the voice.
Cobra Commander.
You got to do the voice. There was a guy who used to call this show who did an amazing Cobra Commander voice.
Did he do this?
I don't know about that. But like he definitely had it down.
We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, see, I wasn't a G.I. Joe fan, so I couldn't say how good it was.
I really liked it, though.
He did sound like
I'm sorry, Mike, that was pretty good. COVID bandana. That's pretty good.
Go to archives.freetalklive.com and search
it. It probably will come up.
What,
yeah.
Cobra Commander?
Yeah.
You can find some...
Didn't he run for president? Was it 2012 or something like that?
I can't remember what year it was, but he did run for president under the notion that how much worse could it possibly be? Well, history has given us some answers.
Now we know. I just wanted to make a point, too. We were talking last night at our nightcap gathering.
Yes.
And
our illegal nightcap gathering.
Our very illegal nightcap gathering that has been going on for 8 weeks now.
Or you could say constitutional gathering, whatever you want to look at it.
In the town square, which is also a circle.
Yep.
And I lamented, and correct me if I'm wrong, that all the Bernie bots, the Bernie bros, the Feel the Burn supporters should be incredibly happy right now.
Why is that?
Because what has actually been instituted since the COVID scare by governments is democratic socialism.
Well, didn't we already have that?
Well, we did, but I'm just saying it's more of it. And so those people should. And
how do you like your 60-day free trial of communism?
Like Donald Trump, the guy that all the Bernie bots love to hate, has implemented more democratic socialism than any previous politician.
Now, are you referring specifically to
I'm
the $1,200 checks?
I'm being facetious.
I think it's more corporate welfare is what I'm seeing here. Now, of course, when you ruin somebody's business, you've got to make good on it.
Well, and they're also propping up the businesses by printing money, printing money. Right?
It's not going to be propping them up, though, because as we already pointed out, the small business loans are coming with a ton of strings attached.
So what's the next step when the businesses can't? Well, then they take over. The government does. They nationalize the businesses. That's the next step.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if they've proposed doing that yet.
No, but if you look at
be coming.
If you look at the communist
the manifesto,
well, or the history of communist empires or communist countries, governments, right? They all kind of follow the same pattern from growth until death, right? If you study the history of empires, right? Empires have these cycles that they go through, and so that would be the next step: is for the businesses to become nationalized.
Let's go to John. He's in Lincoln, Nebraska, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say, the mayor of the mayor of my city, she went on Good Morning America a while back or whatever it was, some morning news station said, we're spread out or something. She said, Lincoln, it's just one of those places where, it's not so bad here or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that, it's like things started getting worse. And now the governor's opened everything back up. I guess, the governor's Republican, the mayor of the city is a Democrat. It just seems really kind of like they're at odds and everything, and they're making it a big deal out of it on the news and all this stuff.
When you say it's opened back up, what do you mean by that? What does it mean to be opened back up?
Well, like restaurants and stuff like that, like a lot of them are closed.
Right. Are they being forced?
Anything was like.
Sorry, John.
No, I don't think any.
Are the restaurants being forced to do social distancing measures? Are they forcing their employees to wear masks? What's going on with that?
I'm not sure if they're forced, but I guess the rules are they're just playing by the rules or whatever's being suggested by the CDC. I think because they're covering things up. They're having them spread out like one booth empty, the next booth you can use.
Okay, so they are doing this stupid crap. That they feel like they have to do because the government said so. And then, of course, there's also these people who are the busybodies out there. One of our co-hosts, Aria, was showing us some of the messages. She works at a pizza chain here in town, and they get the feedback that they can see, right? So, like, if somebody writes feedback on the website, then it goes to the store and they can see it. And so they got a couple 1-star ratings from people who were mad that they didn't have their masks on. Not all the employees were wearing masks. I'll never go there again. And Aria was like, well, we had $4,000 in business. We do more business now in a night than we do on the Super Bowl Sunday. So it's like, okay, we're going to lose your business, lady, whatever.
But to the caller's point, I think he's correct in that nothing is ever going to go back to normal.
Oh, God.
Right? They keep using this term, the new normal, for a reason. And I think that it is for this very reason, is that they are going to micromanage all of the small businesses that return. And an example of that is something I put in the prep today. I saw a thing on the social media. It's a bar called Cheap Charlie's in New York State somewhere. And they have prepared for the eventuality of reopening by putting up plexiglass separators at the bar to keep anyone who sits at the bar 6 feet away from each other. They've also put up plexiglass in between each of their tables in the restaurant area to prevent people from, leaning over to their neighbor and saying hello.
And meeting somebody,
or socializing in some way, shape, or form. And also, it seems to me like it is creating one horrendous hazard, and by that I mean people are going to trip and fall into these clear plexiglass things. They're not going to see it, especially if they've imbibed some alcohol. So, their insurance is going to go up and this kind of a thing. We'll try and post a picture of that for you on our social media so you can see what the future of bars looks like.
Yeah, and according to the story over at CNN that's got like a rundown of all the 50 states' so-called reopenings, it looks like Nebraska's got a 50% capacity rule right now for restaurants. Thank you, John, for your update. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. 855-450-FREE.
I have a chocolate cocker spaniel named Lady and a blackmouth cur, and it's a lot of responsibility owning a dog. My dogs don't have any health problems because they're eating what they need to eat.
DINOVITE.com.
Dynavite is like pouring a multivitamin right onto their food. We'll be scooping our Dynavite, then squirting the liquor chops and the fish oil. They start salivating.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynavite at DINOVITE.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. So hop into one of those rooms. You'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Tonight, you've got Ian,
the captain,
and Mark.
And want to make sure that you know about Liberty.menu. Liberty-minded folks, people who are rejecting the initiation of force, people who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. These are people who wanted for a long time what they finally have with liberty.menu. It's a business directory, basically. It also has areas for events and digital content. So whatever it is that you do, whatever thing that you offer in the marketplace, you want other liberty-minded people to know about it, get on over to liberty.menu and list yourself up there. It wouldn't hurt to get a little bit of extra business, especially right now. Liberty.menu. It's free to use it, so why not? As long as you care about freedom, you should be up there over at liberty.menu. You can use code FTL on your user profile. You get a Free Talk Live listener badge. We can't give you a discount because the site's free. It's liberty.menu. As we go to a little more good news. It's nice to have a little bit of good news to talk about here.
Good news, everybody.
Tampa, Florida. Fox 13 reporting. Lawyers say charges have been dropped against the pastor of the Tampa megachurch, who prosecutors said defied safer-at-home orders when he held large services with hundreds of his congregants. By the way, where's the mass deaths that have come from him holding services with hundreds and hundreds of people converging in the same physical, space in close proximity to one another? I haven't heard about it.
Great question.
Well, this is one of the things that the experts out there aren't willing to say, is we don't know a heck of a lot about this virus. And 60 days out, we still don't know that much. And it acts really strange.
We're a little more than 60 days out.
Well, 60 days out from sort of the beginning of the raising of the alarms. So,
Anyway. It's been 3 months now since I was originally scheduled to go to the Marianas Islands, and that was canceled right around when
I keep
going.
saying March 13th, although I did have another article for show prep. The headline was just that there are 2 people in Washington State, Snohomish County, so near Seattle, outside of Seattle, that came down with some sort of illness in the first week of December of last year. And those blood samples that they took of both of those people have tested positive for COVID-19.
Uh-oh.
Changing the narrative of when COVID actually came to the U.S.
Who knows?
So it's been around longer than the officials believe that it has and have been telling us
right. Well, I mean,
that
if in December you had symptoms that seemed like a cold or a flu, you're not going to go and get tested. You're just going to.
You didn't have any idea? In December, no one knew about this.
You're just going to power through it, and you're going to survive unless
or
you
not.
don't.
Neither of these people died, by the way.
Right, and that's that. We continue here.
I mean, the numbers of survival by COVID-19 have varied widely, but at this point we're getting down to a fraction of a percent at this point death rate. I mean, if you were diagnosed with a cancer,
it's been a fraction of a.
Well, some people have claimed that the death rate is up to 15%.
Of what? People who caught this thing?
Whatever, they just claimed it.
Yeah, well,
that's the problem with all of this. So is it a fraction? I think it's a fraction of a percent. It is a fraction of a percent. And the question is what would you do if you were given, you went to the doctor and they said you have cancer, but the survivability rate is 99%. You probably wouldn't change your life.
Dr. Rodney Howard Brown drew national criticism after images from a service at the river in Tampa Bay showed the pews filled with parishioners the Sunday after Hillsborough County issued orders for residents to stay home and not congregate in groups larger than 10 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Howard Brown turned himself in the following Monday after the sheriff's office charged him with unlawful assembly and violating public health emergency rules of isolation and quarantine in relation to the Sunday services where the sheriff said up to 500 people were in attendance. The church's live video stream showed a packed crowd cheering and applauding. The sheriff said Howard Brown encouraged churchgoers to attend and even offered them bus transportation to get to the church. And previously, his deputies tried to speak to the man about the potentially dangerous environment he was creating at the church, but church leaders allegedly said he refused to call off the upcoming services. Advocates of and opposition to the pastor's actions raised questions about freedom of speech and public health.
There's no questions about this. Anybody who's upset can be upset. Look, people are upset about religion all the time. That's like the history of man, okay? Being upset about religion. However, if you try to stop somebody from practicing the religion in the United States of America, especially if you have taken an oath to the Constitution, you should be fired, and that's it.
Well, that's not going to happen, but they did drop the charges in this particular case.
Right. Some little Banff over here, right? Like he goes ahead and says, well, we're going to lock him up and arrest him, and then we're going to drop the charges in a month. This is an old trick by the executive branch. They call it you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. So, you're gonna take a ride to jail, and it's gonna be unpleasant.
And it made the news.
Right. Yeah. And he's a bad guy, and lots of people are like,
see, this will happen to you if you have a gathering.
He's gonna get the COVIDs and die. Ha 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 ha. Or whatever
Some
they're
people
saying.
want them to get the COVID.
Yes, they absolutely do. And most of those people are going to vote Democrat. And that's the problem here, is this whole thing has become a political football.
Oh, if you think it's a political football now, wait till you get, wait till this campaign season really kicks into high gear.
Oh, yeah. It would have been so much better if Joe Biden had been in charge. I mean, this guy can't find his way. He can't put on a pair of loafers.
Have you heard the stories about the Biden, what do they call it? Like an online campaign meetings that they've been having. Like they've had him on Zoom, and it's just been an absolute disaster.
I can't imagine.
So my mom's a pretty avid Fox News watcher, and I have got a chance to see. And by the way, I do like Tucker Carlson's intros. He does some great monologues. So I've watched some of the stuff and seen it. I generally try to intersperse my opinion between the Republicans and the Democrats, but sometimes it's really difficult.
As I understand it, and I haven't seen really much of it, but I've read a little bit about it. As I understand it, it's just painful, apparently, even for like the Democrat fans of this guy. Because I was reading a story from The Atlantic today, which was written by somebody who's obviously on the left, but just talking about how much of a disaster these Zoom meetings have been. Where you
Justin Amash has now dropped out, right?
Yeah. Justin Amash is not going to run for president. Yeah,
as a libertarian,
right? Yeah,
right. I mean, presumably he's not going to run for president at all.
Presumably,
I don't know how he would run for president otherwise.
It would be very difficult. It's going to be difficult to be a libertarian and run this year. I mean, it's always hard to be a third party, but it's going to be harder than ever.
They just won a suit in, I can't remember which state. I think it was Illinois, that they can now use as precedent in the other states to say that they need ballot access, because they can't procure it on their own, because
they can't get
the signatures for ballot access. And some states like Oklahoma,
well, they're going to have to fight in a bunch of places over that. It's not going to be an easy thing to do. But if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. So kudos to Rodney Howard-Browne, the pastor there at the river in Tampa Bay. That church, he has been released. His council has said that they received a notice of termination of the misdemeanor charges against Howard-Browne, and I presume that was all of the charges? Yes, that was all of them. Quote, "We are pleased that all the charges have been dropped. It's now time to move forward with healing and restoration." I think they should move forward with a civil suit against these people. Give them some sort of a slapdown if it's possible within this legal system, because they dropped the charges because they know they couldn't get a conviction, right? That's the reason they dropped the charges. It's Free Talk Live. They won't say that, though.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You bring up anything you want. Take control of the airwaves with us. Here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're over at discord.lrn.fm. So hop in to one of those, and we'll get you on the air with us here tonight. It's Ian.
Some guy.
And Mark.
We talked to, let's see, I think Art's on the line in Jackson, Michigan. He's calling from the correctional institution there, the prison. Go ahead, Art. You're on Free Talk Live.
I want to touch bases a little bit about COVID-19 in the Michigan prisons.
I hear you guys are a bit of a hot spot.
Yes, it is. Actually, Parnell, Jackson, Michigan was the epicenter. Started the first epicenter here with the COVID-19. We've had a number of deaths. A number of the people I work with actually died from it.
Really?
So it's pretty bad in here.
Wow.
It's kind of a new death sentence in Michigan, even though they outlowed it. It's a new death sentence. But anyhow,
you said a number. What is the number? 2, 3, 5, 10, 20? 1?
Well, right now I think we're 50 or 60 right now.
Hold on. 50 people in the prison died from COVID-19?
In Michigan, correct.
In your prison? 50 people?
No, not all in my prison. No, I think we had 6 or 10 in this prison here.
One of the difficulties is when somebody gets sick, though, they just don't come back. And so you don't know. Exactly. It's difficult for a convict to get a count.
Exactly. You get locked in your cell and you die, pretty much, is what happens. But anyhow, it's the Michigan citizens are even protesting for the prisoners, believe it or not, which is unheard of, but it's definitely taking place because they know how bad it is in here. Because we're crammed, we're like sardines in here.
Sure.
We're 3 feet apart, and the problem is they're doing everything backwards. They're actually keeping people locked down longer, so you can't get out the yard. Get the fans going. They got the windows open. Everything that they're not supposed to be doing, they're doing.
Of course. Jails and prisons are not known for compassion towards the inmates and taking good care of them.
They feel the more they punish us, the better they do their job. But the problem now is with this COVID-19, it's killing people. And it's really, we figured the death rate was about 3% from what they were testing. Now, last week or two ago, they tested one of the prisons, and I think it was like almost 800 people tested positive. Anyhow, because they're doing everything backwards with the overcrowding, the mass incarceration that's taking place. There's just no way to get around it. I mean, everybody's getting it.
Right.
But anyhow, yesterday.
And by the way, one of the things that they do when they lock you up is they take responsibility for your safety. Now, admittedly, they don't do a great job of it, but this is one of the problems the state has, is when they choose to lock people up, especially in conditions where they're all packed together, then they're taking responsibility for people catching diseases. Look, I get that there's lots of people out there that don't want lots of people released from prison. But what we need to understand is most of the people that are in prison are in for nonviolent crimes.
A lot of them, yeah.
Correct. And yesterday, protesters were on the Lansing Capitol with assault rifles because Michigan is an open carry state.
Right.
So basically, there are a lot of people protesting because we have a lot of draconian rules going on with this executive orders. So there definitely people are standing up and taking arms because they know it's crazy. The whole state's locked down pretty much. Prisons, of course, are even worse because you know how the prison environment takes place. On top of that, like I said, we did file a class action lawsuit. 52 prisoners got together. We filed a class action lawsuit last week. Mm-hmm. And it's Rouse versus the Michigan governor. It's available on. It should be available on Pacer.gov. Of course, we have another case pending, Rouse versus the U.S. Attorney General, dealing with the draconian laws that are still on the books right now. We asked for a protective order to stop a lot of the things that are taking place in here. Like I said, they've also shut down the law library, so we have no access to the courts any longer.
I'm not even sure they can legally do that.
Well,
they can't, but it's
they did it anyway.
But the only way you can stop them is to file a lawsuit against them, and now you don't have access to the law library. So how the hell are you going to file a lawsuit against them?
Exactly, it's a vicious cycle. But anyhow, I did file it. 52 prisoners. It's only 30 pages long. I just put something together real quick, typed up something real quick. We also have
real
an
quick
attorney,
30-page filing. I love you guys, man. I'm so glad for jailhouse lawyers like you. I'm not saying you're an actual attorney, but you're somebody who's done a lot of research into the law and filing these suits, and you're helping lead the way for these guys. And I'm sure you're going to keep us up to date, Art, on these as they develop.
Exactly. And anybody that can give me any kind of assistance, it's Art Rouse at 274-237. Like I said, and they can either go on jpay.com or they can go Facebook. They can look up Prisoners for Liberty because we still have that going as well. We've actually started a GoFundMe account because we need assistance with filing court fees and stuff like that. Because it's a lot of money to file these court fees.
Yeah, especially when you're in prison, and if you're lucky enough to be able to work, you might be making like 50 cents a month. Or something ridiculous.
I'm at $80 a month, but I run the law library.
Big money.
So the bottom line is, anybody that can assist us out there will be grateful. They can write directly to me. That's of course 1780 Parnell, Jackson, Michigan 49201, or JPayMe or whatever. But
He's
any
Art
help that
Rouse.
we can get out there would be greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Art. Appreciate the update tonight. Good luck. That's Art calling from the Parnell.
I just want to give a shout out to Michigan in general.
Yeah.
It seems that through this whole, what do you refer to it as? The medical hellscape, this whole post-COVID-19 government crackdown.
Something like that, yeah, authoritarian medical hellscape.
Whatever it is, Michigan has been the loudest, at least that I can tell, of all of the geographic areas known as states within the United States. They have been the loudest, I think.
I saw it was Lionel, who's a former talk show host, on his YouTube channel. He used the term, I think it was biotyranny.
Biotyranny.
I hadn't heard that one before, or biotyrannical, or one or the other, something like that.
Well, real quick, the CDC, which is the Center for Dumbass Control, now recommends that in addition to masks, gloves, and blindfolds, everyone must also shove their heads up their asses in a mandatory concerted effort to prevent the spread of freedom.
Let's talk to Jerome. He's on the line in Charleston, South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Hello, Jerome.
Hey, you say you like to watch Fox? I despise Fox.
Nope, nobody said it.
You do watch it.
Nope, I said my mother watches Fox, and I've sat there, and I do like Tucker Carlson's monologues in the beginning.
Wait, Jerome, I thought you watched Fox News. Don't you watch Fox News, Jerome?
Hey, Tucker Carlson, yeah, right. Tucker Carlson's an idiot. No.
Okay.
Most of them over there are anyway, because all they do is carry Trump's water for him. It trumps a little water boy.
I would agree with you that a lot of that goes on. I can, however, doing this job for more than 20 years now, can recognize talent.
But I despise Sean Hannity probably more than all of them.
He's a really nice guy. I don't agree with him on politics.
He helped George Zimmerman get away with murder. Okay,
Who?
That's
George
why
Zimmerman.
I despise him.
George
Yeah.
Zimmerman.
So when they gonna start defending those the father and son in Georgia that murdered Ahmaud Arbery? When they gonna start defending him? Since they like defending people who shoot and kill unarmed black people. When they gonna start defending them?
Now, what is this? This is the Georgia story, Mark. You were telling us about off the air, right?
Yeah.
What's
So
going on?
this guy was out jogging, right? Who had, for whatever reason, a shoplifting conviction in 2018. He goes into an a house under construction and kind of looks around. He's caught on video going in and kind of looking around. And then he goes back out, presumably jogging. I'm not exactly sure why he would go into a house under construction while jogging, but apparently that's what he's done. Now, I will tell you, I have been under houses under construction in the last 5 years, just kind of wandered in, what does this looks like? Because I'm kind of a real estate nerd.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
These two fellas, this good old boys.
Oh, that's what they are? They're fellas, huh?
What do you want me to call them?
They're murderers. Well, by the way,
that's not murder.
White people.
Well, wait a minute. I want to know what happened here,
Hang on,
Jerome. Hang on. I don't know this story. What happened?
Yeah, so these two fellas apparently started following him, and then they claimed they wanted to talk to him, and then they claimed that there was a struggle over the gun.
Now, this was in the house that was that
they at this point they had gone back
walking.
jogging,
okay,
back out to the road, and they followed him. Whatever did
they see him on the cameras, and that's how they knew he was
I don't
there?
know how they presumably, but they said they wanted to talk to him about a burglary, and he had been in a structure, so. I don't think you're going to get a murder out of this. This doesn't even sound like manslaughter,
and
honestly.
they killed this guy. One of them killed us. Both of them killed
There was a struggle over the gun.
Who had the gun?
One of them. They brought it. He wasn't jogging with a shotgun.
In moments, it's Free Talk Live.
You know what's really smart? Wash your hands frequently, practice social distancing, and stay home if told to do so. You know what's really dumb? To ignore your immune system. Right now, more than ever, your health depends on a strong immune system. The experts at Immunocorp will give you their 7-step guide to immunity for life, free. Why? Because we want you to be smart and healthy. Simply call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com. Immunocorp has been producing the world's leading immune system products for more than 2 decades. To get your free 7-step guide to immunity for life, call 800-446-3063. 800-446-3063. Be smart. Don't ignore your immune system. Your life depends on it. Call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com. Immunityforlife.com. This is a pandemic survival alert and the most time-sensitive messages you will hear this year. You still have time to plant a 1-acre crisis garden and secure a supply of your own nutrient-dense food. But time is running out, and it's one deadline you don't want to miss. Who should plant a crisis garden? Individuals, families, churches, communities, anyone or any group that sees hard times ahead. Let's face it, even the mainline media is talking about food supply disruptions and the growing number of grocery store workers who are becoming sick. But there's more. Meat packing plants are closing, mile-long lines at food pantries, and more farmers now in financial trouble. The truth is, growing nutrient-dense vegetables this summer may be the single most important thing you do. Go to survivalseedbank.com and watch the new video to understand what we're really up against. Get free bonus seeds, special quarantine reports too. Don't wait, every minute counts. Go to survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, Effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. In the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
the captain, and Mark.
And, of course, you can join us online anytime you want over at freetalklive.com. Also, want to make sure we thank Voluntary Gary, who is a Free Talk Live Gold amplifier. He's somebody who is a supporter of the Free Talk Live AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's a way to help us get on more radio stations around the United States and bring the ideas of freedom and liberty to more listeners. And if you appreciate the work that we do here and you've got $5 a month you can throw our direction for the AMP program, we sure would appreciate it. You can go to amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. Had a few new signups this week for AMP, and no cancellations, which is it's always a good week when we don't have cancellations on the AMP program. Sometimes it's like a few of one and then a few of the other, and it kind of just balances out if we're lucky. So it's nice to see it going in the other direction. So thank you to Voluntary Gary and everybody else who amps the show at amp.freetalklive.com. We go back to Jerome in Charleston, South Carolina. Jerome, you were calling about a guy who you say he was murdered. I don't know all the details on this story. Mark, you're telling me that apparently a guy was out for a run. He was stopped by another couple of guys. One of them apparently had a gun. And something.
So they both had guns.
They both had guns. Okay.
One of them had a shotgun.
Mm-hmm. And so what is your understanding of the story, Jerome?
Oh, they murdered him. Yeah, hey, how come none of the white people that were seen on that property, they didn't follow any of them? They just happened to pick him out and follow him.
Now, were these two men related to the property in question? Because apparently the man who was jogging went into a house under construction.
No, they're not related. They're not related to the property at all.
Okay.
They're just nosy neighbors trying to cause trouble, and that's what they got themselves into.
So were there any witnesses to this? Were there any witnesses to this conflict?
Oh, they got the videotape of them killing him. I didn't mean there any witnesses. Yeah, they do.
Okay, where did the video come from? Where was the camera?
Some guy was following them. He was probably in on it too. He was looking for trouble too. That's where it came from.
So what happened in the was there actual audio? Can you hear anything, or do you just see the murder happen on the video?
So you heard the gunshot. He fired 2 shots. No alleged. They murdered him. Yeah, just like Zimmerman murdered.
Now, Mark, you were telling me off the air that apparently the story of these 2 guys is that they were struggling with this man. And that somehow that's what led to the shootings?
Well, I mean, this is the difficulty when you have a situation like this. There's 3 people that were there.
And one is dead.
There's 2 sides, and one side is dead, right? So it's the side that's alive that gets to tell the story.
Okay. But you're saying, Jerome, there's video of the actual shooting or no?
You heard the gunshot. You saw him struggling with the gun, and then you heard the gunshot.
Okay.
And the they saw the young guy stumble and fall, and he died. Right?
What is the claim as far as why they pulled a gun on this man in the first place?
Hey, why do they write laws where white people can kill black people and get away with it when they're unarmed? You're asking me?
I'm not sure that they write laws like that.
There are. Well, why weren't they arrested then? They went and told a lie.
I think it's because you asked what crime he committed, and the crime he committed was trespassing, right?
On whose property?
Whoever's building the house.
Look, there were white people seen on that property that weren't harassed
at
by
the
them.
same
Why
time.
weren't they harassed?
At the same time?
No, it was different times. They showed different people on there.
So the fact that these guys didn't see somebody else who was on the property does not mean that this guy is that's irrelevant information.
Okay.
Why did they pick him to follow?
Why? What makes you? Why do you presume that they saw everybody that was on this property ever?
They showed videotape of other people being on. They were watching the property so much. Why didn't they see anybody else?
Maybe they just happened to see it. Look, as a person who watches my neighbor's property sometime, I have to have the ability to act on his behalf with some level of agency.
So they decided we're gonna follow him because he's black, right? You don't think that had anything to do with it?
What had something to do with it is him being on a piece of property that wasn't his. I'm not saying he deserved to die, and I would also point out that trespassing is not a felony, so the fleeing felon rule does not apply here. So the case has some interesting aspects.
What are the guys who are alleged to have committed murder in this case? What are they saying as far as why they pulled a gun on this guy?
They're not saying anything. They're letting the lawyer do all the talking.
I see.
And the lawyers are trying to come up with a lie that's going to try to sell to a jury.
They mentioned burglary, and they mentioned self-defense because he went for the gun.
But wait a minute. Why would they pull the gun in the first place?
Well, if you have a burglar...
They thought this guy was a burglar?
He was in a structure that was not his. So I think that it's relatively legitimate to stop off and chit-chat with a gentleman who has just come out of a structure that wasn't his.
I don't know if it's legitimate to hold the man at gunpoint. If that's what was actually happening, I don't know, right? Like I didn't witness this. I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm just trying to ask you questions, Mark, because you seem to have followed the case.
I don't know.
To some
I don't know
extent.
everything about it, but I would say this, right? Like first off, these guys aren't responsible for knowing what the laws are surrounding when they can hold a fleeing felon and when they can't, and what constitutes burglary. This guy did not commit burglary because there's no locks on the door.
Right.
Okay. So, and he presumably didn't steal anything from the house. So there's no breaking and entering. There's no burglary from what I can tell.
Trespassing at best.
Is trespassing at best, which is not a felony, and therefore the fleeing felon rules don't apply. I think these guys may very well get a wrongful homicide kind of charge, but murder, it's just not murder.
Thank you, Jerome, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Simpre in our Discord server is saying it's Georgia law, but I'm not sure what law he's referring to or what is Georgia law. Is it Georgia law that it's okay to pull a gun on somebody if you think that they just burgled a structure? I don't know.
I'm not sure you can't pull a gun on somebody who you reasonably believe just burglarized a structure.
You're not sure you can't?
Right. I think you can probably in many states, and one of those states probably being Georgia, you can pull a gun on somebody that you have, reasonable belief, probable cause, as it were, that they committed a burglary. Now, this isn't a burglary, but I mean, this is the heat of the moment. And this is one of the problems with justifiable homicide situations is you can always second guess. And no, I don't believe somebody's life is worth a television set. But they must not believe it either. If you go into somebody's house, you're forfeiting your life.
Simpre says, if you view a crime, you can use any force necessary to attempt apprehension. He says that in Georgia, that is apparently the law.
It's going to be an interesting case.
Yeah, no doubt. We go back to your calls and thoughts. Let's go first to Pat. He's calling from northern Michigan. Pat, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
How you guys doing
Hey,
tonight?
Pat,
My campfire buddies. I miss you.
What's on your mind?
All right. Well, this whole thing, this virus, this is a manufactured thing. It's genetically modified, and it's been let's go to the start of the story. Everybody has seen since 1999 these chemtrails they've been spraying in the air.
Oh man, you're not one of those guys, are you?
No, dude, I'm telling you, these things have
They're
been
not
heated.
chemtrails. That's a load of crap.
It's just a contrail, just like they were when we were in school.
Man.
No.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of science.
Clouds. They float so differently.
Yeah.
A cloud twists and turns in the wind. These things just lay flat.
How come we haven't got any video of one concerned pilot saying, I don't know what I'm flying up here, but this plane's full of stuff?
They keep having me press this button to release something, and they won't tell me what it is.
Right.
You know?
Not one. I mean, these thousands and thousands of people.
I've been informed by higher authorities than me that these planes are unmanned.
Oh, really? Now
they're being flown by some pimple-faced boy out of Newark or some damn thing. I don't know.
Now, so what is it that you believe about the chemtrails?
Anyway, no. Now listen to me. This whole thing is an attack on the cell structure. All right, your telomere is the end of your genome. It's like your spark plug, and we have been deprived of boron and selenium, and this thing is going to be a low voltage electrical attack to the G5 network.
Why? That doesn't make any sense.
The G5 thing too.
What is that? 5G.
Well, this is 5G.
Oh yeah.
You're just rolling them all up into one.
Dude.
Yeah, but it's the lizard people living under Stapleton Airport that are doing all this.
Hey Pat, thanks for the call, man. We've had people call about this chemtrail stuff in the past.
It's a supra conspiracy. That's one higher than super conspiracy.
It's a meta conspiracy. It's a conspiracy about conspiracy.
Yes.
Hey, 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. If you're interested in learning about contrails, there's a great website called Contrail Science out there. Go and look that one up. I forget if it's a .com or what it is, but just search for Contrail Science, and they just debunk all the chemtrail nonsense out there. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,736, silver at $16.14, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,758. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, President Donald Trump on Thursday announced that he believes the coronavirus vaccine will be ready by the end of the year. Once the vaccine is ready, the president intends to deploy the military to distribute the vaccine on a mass scale to most of the entire country. Activist Post reports it comes on the heels of learning that several states plan to deploy the National Guard to assist in their contract tracing programs. President Trump's Operation Warp Speed has a goal of making 100 million doses of vaccine against COVID-19 available by November, 200 million by December, and 300 million by January 2021. Meanwhile, several of the states are calling on the National Guard to assist their contract tracing programs, and the training has already begun, but they say the function is not a law enforcement role. Instead, the National Guard will be seen as a public health service. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. As states across the United States start to relax quarantine measures, beachgoers in Florida left an estimated 13,000 pounds of trash strewn across one beach this past weekend, according to a report from The Hill. The Mind Unleashed reports that Florida's beaches, which reopened on April 21st, have also been the center of the state's efforts to revive the state's floundering tourism industry. However, the massive influx of visitors, said to be the equivalent to the number of people who flood the beaches on holidays like the 4th of July, has led to a huge spike in garbage being carelessly left behind. And that's forced authorities to launch a new crackdown on the litter bugs. Police have stated they will start focusing on litter violations in the days and weeks ahead in an effort to educate the public and mitigate, quote, this repulsive and disrespectful behavior, end quote. For most people across the world, the coronavirus pandemic and ensuing lockdown measures have been nothing short of ruinous. The Mind Unleashed reports that countless small and large businesses have faced bankruptcy, while in the United States, local government budgets are in shambles, while the unemployment rate is projected by Goldman Sachs to peak at 25%, rivaling or exceeding the worst moments of the Great Depression. Amid the unfolding economic catastrophe, the wealth gap between the average people and the ultra-rich has widened drastically. For mega billionaires like Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the planet, whose net worth is estimated at $143 billion, the health crisis has only made them richer. And now the Amazon founder is slated to likely become the world's very first trillionaire, according to business software comparison platform Comparison. The site's projection shows that Bezos is likely to achieve trillionaire status by 2026, when he will be 62 years old. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Following this afternoon's arrest of Congress on the charge of over 23 million counts of manslaughter, our reporter spoke to Mark Westnick from Savannah, Georgia, just one of the many Americans that has lost a loved one due to the legislative branch's criminal negligence.
Because of Congress, my 23-year-old son died 2 years ago in Afghanistan. My nephew, he lost his leg in Iraq in 2006, and my brother died in Vietnam in 1969. Congress killed my family.
Defense attorneys for the now incarcerated 538-member group have dismissed the claims made by Westnick and other victims and released a statement saying their client has been, quote, a pillar of the national community for over 200 years and completely innocent of any and all wrongdoing. Keep checking theonion.com for more as this story develops.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live, indeed. We will take your calls and thoughts about what you want to discuss. You just dial in. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. You can join those over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
The captain.
And Mark.
And, of course, you can bring up anything you want. Let's see. On the way, Michigan. Apparently, there's an elderly barber who has been targeted by the state there. He's 77 years old, became a symbol of resistance when he opened up the doors to his shop May 4th and refused to close. And now, well, they've come after him. We'll tell you what's happening with him in moments. First, we go to your phone calls and thoughts. It's Kevin. He's calling from Michigan, and I think you're listening in Flint to WCK. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yep, that's for sure.
Welcome.
Well, apparently they're giving us grades now for violating social distancing by county by county.
Oh, really?
They said in March Michigan was an A on their subjective grades. Now we're all failing. There's only like a D- as a passing grade because we're not liking the lockdown rules and everything. I'm like, who's counting these, and why are they taking the time to do so?
I have a different question. How come we don't get report cards from the government on how well they're doing with grades? How come we don't get to grade them?
That's a darn good question because they know they'd have a failing grade all the time, too. I'll tell you that. I just thought it was funny when I heard this. I was like, I don't understand how I can get grades now. I had enough grades in high school. I didn't like them then. I don't like them now.
Yeah, this just seems like more of this city people against country people thing to me, where, it's been going on a long time, right? The city denizens always think they know better than those stupid
country
bumpkins out in the country, right?
Oh, those dumb hicks. Right, yeah.
And,
That's what I think.
And those are the ones, by the way, that have the seats of power, the cathedrals, as it were, where they have the altars at the cathedral. They speak out to us, and they tell us how we're going to all die because of our bad practices. But lots of different things. They're always telling us out in the country how we're messing it up. Now, thank goodness for the internet. So shows like Free Talk Live, which come from a town of 22,000 people or something, can manage to get a little voice out there and tell all the city folks to go F yourselves, you pompous pricks.
Sounds good to me. I enjoy your show, guys.
Thanks,
I like
Kevin.
Kickass and all you do. Keep up the good
Appreciate
work.
the call, dude. Thanks, man.
Freedom, I'll tell you that.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you
Appreciate the
very
call.
much, sirs.
Yep.
I just want
pleasure.
to mention real quick that what he's saying sounds to me a lot like the app that the Chinese government has rolled out.
The social app?
The social app.
Grading app or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the fact that there is a grade for how well you're doing social distancing is mighty dystopian and scary to me.
I tend to think that the Chinese government, or at the very least the authoritarian style of government that they have, is the big winner during all this.
Oh, of course the government has won. I mean, they've across the planet taken power, and I mean, there's almost no exception to it.
If you're a socialist specifically, you should be rejoicing, because not only are more people dependent on government
than ever before,
but socialism should be claimed as a victory because workers are no longer being exploited thanks to the high unemployment rate.
Meaning they don't have a job at all.
Well, but they're still on the government dole.
Yeah, well, this is where the UBI thing comes in.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Like now,
and what do you think
we
they're
must have
proposing?
a UBI.
Where do you think the $2,000 a month or whatever the new proposal is coming from? Right? They're going to do another round of the $1,200, and then they're gonna kick that can down the road, and we'll just extend it and extend it and extend it.
But it's boomers that want their meals at the restaurants, and why should we go back when we can get $2,000 a month? The government can give us. They
free
just
money.
print out of thin air. This won't do anything bad to the economy. I swear. There'll be plenty of meat in the grocery stores for as long as you... Oh, no, there won't. There's already losses of meat. They're shooting hogs all over, healthy hogs, and leaving them... They can't even bury them fast enough.
I heard they were gassing thousands of hogs.
Yeah, right. And we already heard that Wendy's burger joints in California were not serving beef. They were out.
Right. Free money is not an economy.
No.
It's not.
No, it
like
isn't.
the economy is the economy. Money is part of an economy.
Right.
It is not an economy.
Right.
No, the economy is exchange between individuals.
Right.
And money is a way to have a medium of that
Right.
exchange that is hopefully as universal as possible.
It's a representation of value. It allows us to exchange value.
Yeah.
And there's no value in sitting at home worrying about whether this is COVID-19, the Republicans, or racism is the biggest problem here.
Yeah, for our listeners out there, economics is not difficult. It is what you think it is. It's supply and demand, and whatever the price is whatever the market determines, or whatever you determine the value is, depending on which side of the market you're on. That's it. Now, a lot of people like to think that, the folks in government, the economy is so complicated that we can't ever be smart enough to figure out economics. No, what they've done is they've surrounded it with all sorts of voodoo, right, and laws that make it a super complex web of legalese that turns what should be a simple principle, economics, into this labyrinth of legal mumbo jumbo, and that's the part where people go because, that's what they do. States make it so complicated that you can't wade through it. It's a stacked deck against you.
Let's go on with more of your calls and thoughts. We have John. He's in Dover, Delaware, listening to WDOV. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm feeling what my man was just saying, man. It's like the taxes. You got to go to like a tax specialist to get your tax stuff done because they make it so confusing. No real normal person could ever understand this.
That's
stuff,
right.
Yep.
Unbelievable, man. I like that guy, Pat, that calls in from Connecticut, and he was saying about the chemtrails. Now, what I heard, I don't know if I'm such a believer in it, but I've heard the philosophy on these chemtrails. And the pilot, he has no idea. It's an additive that they're actually putting in the jet fuel when they fuel these babies up. Only in certain planes. That's why certain planes have what they call like the contrails, and other ones have what they call the chemtrails. I watch a lot of
Well, they don't know what they're talking about. I would recommend the website contrailscience.com, which goes into all the claims that the chemtrail people make. And it really it's a bunch of nonsense. Look, if you believe in the chemtrails, ask yourself what the purpose is. Do you have any idea, John, what you think the purpose of the chemtrails?
Who the heck knows? I have no idea. Who knows?
Well, so generally it comes down to a few different theories. There's a couple of theories about this. One theory is that they're trying to poison. Okay, right. So that's a common one, that they're trying to poison people.
Yeah.
So what kind of people? I mean, again, you would have to have a large crew of, a large number of pilots going and whoever's, equipping these vessels or whatever to go out and do this. There's a large number of people who are involved in this operation, whatever, if it exists. How many people are cool with go ahead and poisoning? Sorry, what I was going to say is how many people are cool with like poisoning their family? Because their family is on the ground, right? Like their family's not up in the plane with them when they're flying it around. So
you would think.
Yeah. So I don't know if I buy that claim. I don't think I buy it.
But like I said, his theory was, the guy's theory that I heard was that the pilots have no idea. There's no really secret button that you push. It's actually added into the fuel. So whoever's adding the fuel to the
There's a lot more effective ways to poison people, though. I mean, throwing something in the air.
It's more poisoning. If that's the case, they've been shooting chemtrails over me for about 30 years.
Well, the case is they're not shooting chemtrails, and all you have to do is look at the science behind contrails. And thank you, John, for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
I think what's most suspicious about it to people is the way that you can see some crisscrossing trails in the sky, and I mean,
they talk about that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of planes that fly around, Yeah,
a lot of planes, and they get into all of that, all those questions. Contrailscience.com. Go check it out when you get a chance. The other one is that they're trying to control people's minds. And again, if you're going to try that, to do that stuff, why not just put something in the water supply or whatever, right? Like there's all kinds of other ways that that could be done. Call me a skeptic. Let's continue here. We've got Mary.
Okay, you're a skeptic.
She's in Moultrie, Georgia. You're on Free Talk Live listening to WMTM. Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, the guy that had called a while ago about the murder.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I'm white, and it doesn't matter. You know, I just believe in what's right.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I know that one of them had been maybe a cop at one time, but see, that doesn't matter. If that guy, you know, he's dead and gone, and he can't be brought back.
Hold that thought, Mary. 855 450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Free Talk Live.
It's obvious the government expects people to pay taxes, whether or not they have a law.
They are a band of marauders. They're a violent band of thugs, and in my opinion, they're a group of strangers. I mean, if I all of a sudden wrote up an invoice for you, Robert, and sent it to your house saying, you owe Free Talk Live $5,000 this year, or if you don't pay us, we're going to send some people after you to punch your face in. Would you cut me a check? I mean, because that's essentially what they're doing. That's essentially what the IRS does. They write a bunch of strangers, people they don't know, an invoice, and they include a bunch of obscure instructions that you're supposed to understand. And then at the very bottom it says, if you don't follow these instructions to the T, we are going to charge you with a criminal offense and throw you in the clink. This is a threat. And I don't take kindly to threats. I don't know about you.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You bring up anything you want here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord. Call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And joining you in the studio, it's Ian. The Reverend. Oh, my bad. Try that again, Rev.
I'm being censored, damn it. I am the Reverend Captain Kickass.
And Mark Edge.
Yep, and also Intercoin is built to help democratize power to the people in their local communities. Cryptography enables people to hold secure and private elections about any matter of community governance. It could be used even for securely tallying and reporting results, even for national elections. Intercoin has also pioneered provably random polling that is unaffected by poor voter turnout or spoiler effects. It can be used to continuously adjust levers of monetary policy, such as how much UBI to issue the next day. That's Intercoin, attempting to regain some of our freedoms that are threatened on the internet and in meat space. And we think that's important here on Free Talk Live. So important that we accepted $40,000 worth of Intercoin tokens from Intercoin Incorporated for advertising. If you think freedom is important too, check out Intercoin at intercoin.org. You can invest in this project and potentially make big gains, or just be involved and perhaps shape its future. It's intercoin.org as we go back to Mary in Georgia, listening to WMTM. Now, Mary, you were saying that you believe that one of the men in Georgia in the shooting that we were talking about earlier, Jerome called in about it, that you believe that one of the men involved was a former police officer?
If I heard correctly. And I know that there's some hurting folks over his death, and I just wanted to say that if their lives wasn't in danger, they shouldn't have taken his life. And I'm sure that one of them killed him. You know, the other one might have been a witness. And I guess that's all I need to say. But
well, thank you, Mary.
Have killed him.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate hearing from you. And I don't know enough about the story. You know, it's hard to really say what happened in this situation. Apparently, there is some sort of a video. Mark, have you seen any of this alleged video?
I've seen some video. I try not to watch videos of people being killed. I'm sorry. You know, I've done this business for too long, and I don't need the PTSD that comes with it.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see videos of people being killed, go right ahead. The internet's full of them. I'm sick of it, and I don't do it. I would say this is that the caller brought up the idea that you shouldn't kill somebody unless your life's in danger. That sounds like a really great way to do things.
But how do you know?
But
you know, if they struggled over a gun, your life is in danger in that case, right? Like you're struggling over a gun.
Well, but I don't know whether that's what happened or not.
Well, that's what somebody
that's
claimed.
The claim of the people that were alive that were at the scene. So that's a different situation. What I'm sort of saying is that there's this thing called the fleeing felon rule, right? So if, for instance, somebody steals a television out of my house, and if that television is worth enough money to be considered grand theft in a given state. I think if burglary wouldn't matter what they stole. But anyway, I don't think you can claim they stole the air by breathing it while they are in the house. So if they steal something out of the house, they, they're running away on foot. Chances are good I'm not going to catch them, right? Like, I'm 49, the burglar's 22.
Right.
Am I going to catch him? Probably not. So do I just have to watch my valuables, mom's jewels, run down the road ahead of me? Can I not use the technology that we've developed to defend my property that is now running down the road? And I had this discussion with my wife today because I really don't know what I think. I don't like the idea of shooting somebody over stuff.
Right.
But
it's just a thing.
I'm not prepared to tell somebody else that they can't shoot somebody over stuff.
Well, to some extent, if enough people get shot over stealing stuff, then the word might get around that you might get shot if you steal some stuff. So
and vice
maybe
versa. If nobody's allowed to shoot anybody over stuff,
then people will start stealing more
then
stuff.
you can steal things and not worry about getting shot.
Right.
Yep, I have the same concerns. Let's continue, though, with your calls and thoughts. James is on the line. He's in Miami. James, you're on Free Talk Live.
Well, hi, thank you. I'm calling about something that I just because I heard I forgot his name right now. He said something about they were shooting pigs rather than giving the meat to people, right? Remember?
Yeah, I was saying that, Mark Edge.
I heard they were gassing thousands of hogs rather than being able to send them to the processing plants because they've been shut down.
Right, but you heard about the stuff. Then they were saying that there was like meat that was from hamburger. They're gonna make burgers at Wendy's, and because there was meat that was. You heard about the story, right?
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was.
In some areas of California, Wendy's has run out of fresh beef to serve burgers at their restaurant
because they don't serve frozen.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that actually, when Mark said that, it just reminded me of the whole thing about the Franken foods. Now, have you guys heard the term superfood? Superfood.
I've heard superfoods. Usually, it refers to some dietary
berries or whatever.
Yeah, dietary thing that
avocados are supposed to be a superfood.
Yeah, stuff like that. Vegetables always superfood.
I mean, if I was selling a food, I'd want it to be called a superfood, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Better than Franken food, right? Well, have you guys heard about this thing called cockroach milk?
Cockroach milk? I've not. No.
I have heard the name, but I don't remember anything about it.
I didn't know you could milk a cockroach.
Is this urban slang? I mean, what is it?
It's insane, man. I don't know, man. But I heard that the UN, they want people to eat things like this, like flies and.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
All kinds of bugs.
As a survival food, you can eat all sorts of things. Crickets are incredibly nutritious. Ants. You know, if you could put your hand into a big ant pile and get them all crawling all over your hand and just start eating them, and it'll keep you alive for a while. Not very tasty, and but like you can eat all sorts of weird things. But I have never heard of cockroach milk.
It's a thing. Here's the story from ScienceAlert.com. Jacinta Bowler reporting, and this was April of 2018. An international team of scientists sequenced a protein crystal located in the midgut of cockroaches in 2016. Why? It's more than 4 times as nutritious as cow's milk. And the researchers think it could be the key to feeding our growing population in the future. Although most cockroaches don't actually produce milk, Diploptera punctate, which is the only known cockroach to give birth to live young, has been shown to pump out a type of milk containing protein crystals to feed its babies.
I'd like to, real quick, just say, yuck!
Yeah, please. That's well overdue. Thanks, Mark.
Yuck. Yuck.
Hey, thanks for the call tonight, James. I appreciate you bringing our attention to that, man.
I know you're a Floridian, Ian.
Mm-hmm, yes.
When I lived in Florida, I had the unfortunate experience of living in a mobile home, in a mobile home park on the beach in Panama City, Florida.
It sounds like a damn nightmare.
Super cheap, right? I mean, it was like $150 a month, and it was like a 3-bedroom place or whatever.
Right
so
on.
Super
Is it double
cheap.
wide?
No, single wide. Single wide. And there were
the really long ones, the 75-footers.
And there were 3 of us living there.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly
all male.
One bath.
The first time I woke up to go to the fridge to get a glass of milk or whatever, right? I turned on the light, and it was like the parting of the Red Sea. The whole entire kitchen was covered in cockroaches.
Oh, God.
As soon as the light went on, they all scattered and went God knows where, because it was an old trailer.
The reason we have palmetto bugs in Florida is to keep the Yankees out. It doesn't work very well, but that's what we got them for. The Gators haven't done it.
I'm not fond of drinking their milk, so.
But it's more nutritious, they say. 4 times more nutritious.
Yeah, well.
And what if you didn't know? What if it was a blind taste test and you didn't know and it turned out it tastes better? What if it tasted better than cow's milk? Maybe you'll get a chance to find out someday.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You bring up anything you want here. 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
the captain,
and Mark.
And Freedom's Phoenix. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. We go back into your calls and thoughts. But one more line from this story about the cockroach milk, which we had a caller bring to our attention. I had not heard of this. But according to sciencealert.com, quote, the crystals are like a complete food. They have proteins, fats, and sugars. If you look into the protein sequences, they have all the essential amino acids. She's referring to this protein that the cockroaches actually produce for feeding its babies, suggesting that in some sort of a bizarre future where we need food that's not being produced in a traditional manner, that you could somehow extract and or maybe synthesize this stuff from the cockroaches.
My milkshakes bring all the cockroaches to the yard.
That's how it may end up being.
I mean,
at some point.
This does sound like something that you could, reasonably do, because cockroaches breed at an alarming rate. Although I would be fearful of large cockroach farms to produce this little crystal, right? Where you have to, and then
I'm fearful of the CDC and China making biological weapons, but nobody cares about those fears either.
I understand, but I mean, I'm just envisioning a science fiction film in my head where we suddenly have cockroach farms all over the planet, and then something goes horribly awry.
Well, it can't go as badly as the farms we have. What's happened to farms now?
Let's go back to your calls and thoughts. David is in Jackson, Michigan, listening to WKHM. Go ahead, David. Hello, David in Jackson.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
Hello. Right on. Let me get my speakerphone off.
All right. Yeah, it's always a good plan. Speakerphone.
Dave here,
hey,
gentlemen.
Yes, Dave.
Yep, Jackson, Michigan, if people don't know out there, is about 38 miles due south of Lansing, probably down I-94, 85 miles from center Detroit.
Okay.
We're 160,000 in the county, probably 33,000 in the city. Our illustrious governor, extremely illustrious governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, has put us on a lockdown that people are starting to get, obviously we have armed protests. We also have federal lawsuits and various individuals and hospital groups filing various suits here in the state of Michigan. We are peed off.
Excellent.
I believe her Attorney General of Michigan, Dana Nessel, and the crew of Democrats that think are I don't even want a word behave, what they are doing is absolutely dictating instead of governing. Now we have
I'm not sure what the difference is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is either.
We have a strong legislature in Michigan. Mike Shirkey, the Senate Majority Leader, is from Clark Lake, Michigan, right here in Jackson County. Lee Chatfield is a House Speaker, and he's from Leverning, Michigan, near Petoskey, near the bridge.
I don't know if we need to know where everybody's living as far as the legislatures. What are you driving at here?
They are very Republican. They're also very much on the side of the people.
Well, I mean, it's convenient for them to be on the side of the people, right? It's politically convenient because the governor is a tyrant. But then again, all of the other governors are tyrants as well. She's just gotten more headlines because she's gone a little further than some of the other ones in the rest of the country. I mean, there's almost no state that I've been aware of over the last 2 months that hasn't had a bunch of governor's orders come down from on high and tell every business owner how they got to run their business and what they got to do and a bunch of this crap. So it's political points for these Republicans in Michigan to act like they're on the side of the people, but the reality is they're not. They're in charge of the government, and they are going to rule over people. And if it was a Republican governor in the state of Michigan, maybe they wouldn't have banned access to the garden center or buying seeds. It might not have been as drastic, but they still would be issuing orders. I mean, we've got a Republican governor here in New Hampshire, and he's just issued I think he's over 40 orders that he's issued from his office in just the last 2 months. So I'm not going to buy the claim that the Republicans actually care about people. They care about getting reelected and elected, and so they're pandering to you.
Then may I interject?
Yeah.
And that's exactly where the courts come in. And now that it's happening into the courts, maybe that's our relief.
Maybe, but
I'm hoping. And of the three branches of liars, killers, and thieves that we have in our government, I tend to like the branch that wears the black muumuus the best, but I don't trust them.
Well, and plus it's going to be cold comfort if these courts rule in the favor of the so-called people, right? After
they
you've already
justified
lost
the
your
Patriot
business.
Act and all kinds of stuff, right?
After you've already lost your business. Go ahead.
The Supreme Court in Wisconsin just overruled the governor.
They did.
Open up.
Yep, that's our lead story tonight.
They did. We talked quite a bit about that in hour number 1, which you can download later tonight over at freetalklive.com. Thanks, David, for the call tonight, man. I appreciate it. And, I'm not trying to down his optimism here. Yeah. But on the other hand, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court smacked down a request to overturn the governor's orders there, and the U.S. Supreme Court refused to hear the case, which means they, by default, upheld this Pennsylvania Supreme Court's ruling in that particular case.
And I'd like to point out to the caller that all of the branches are part of the same tree. They all derive their money from the same source.
Right.
So there is an integral, what do we call it, a conflict of interest, because they all get paid by the same entity, and that's taxation.
And they all have their power by claiming power from us.
Right.
Like the notion of government, at least here in the United States. I mean, it used to be just fine, right? Like a guy pulls a sword from a rock and he declares himself king, and if anybody disagrees with him, he chops their head off. Right?
That's crystal clear.
Right. That's what government is. And then it came out as sort of like, what we need? We need to be able to put somebody in the role of king, and we can vote on him. And then this ridiculous notion of the people, by the people, for the people came around.
Now you're part of this.
It's your government. The government is you. You can't hate the government.
Stop doing this to yourself.
The government is all of us.
Why are you hitting yourself in the face, Mark?
Right.
You keep hitting yourself in the face.
If the government is me, I'd like to stop doing all of the dumb things that it does. And that's the real thing. If you're relying on a political party, look, I get it. I like one of the political parties a little better than I like the other political party too. But I still understand they're all liars.
Yep.
Like that's where you have to start, is when you substitute the term politician for liar and thief. Substitute the term government employee for parasite. And then you've got some idea of what we're dealing with here.
Right. You've got a much clearer picture of what's going on.
It's true. Let's talk to Dave. He's also in Michigan, in Jackson, listening to WKHM. Hello, Dave.
Props to Michigan again.
Yeah, they're calling in tonight.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Hey, Dave. What's on your mind?
Just a quick shout out to Captain Steve Boyle.
We don't do shout outs here, Dave.
Jackson in the mornings. Hey, that guy that just called from Jackson, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. We got 55% of the people here that are sheeple that think that Gretchen, the wicked witch of the West Whitmer, is doing is okay because they're sitting back and they're getting $600 extra plus their unemployment, and they're wrapping this stuff up like the bootlickers that they are because they don't know the Constitution. They're being raped and pillaged by this woman, and they don't care, and they think she's great.
Dave, you said 55% of the people in Michigan sitting back, collecting welfare, and cheering on this governor. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate the passion, and I appreciate hearing from you. 855-450 free. Speaking of Michigan, the 77-year-old barber being targeted for opening his doors during the so-called lockdown. This is Free Talk Live. We'll tell you about it.
Houseflies defecate every 4 to 5 minutes, spreading diseases and germs. Protect your food and your health with Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic, no batteries required. Only $39.95. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Attention gardeners, if you need to grow nutritionally dense vegetables or medicinal herbs this year, listen, because a bioactive superfood for plants is now available. This all-natural superfood for plants is so effective at producing maximum plant growth in minimum time that it almost forces plants to grow, even under the worst light and soil conditions. It's called Proto-Grow, and it's truly remarkable. Vegetables grow faster and contain more bioavailable vitamins and trace minerals. Plants that rarely bloom will flower constantly. Sickly plants become vibrantly alive. Medicinal herbs become super potent. Flowers become more vivid right before your very eyes. Proto-Grow also improves the taste quality of all your garden vegetables. That's because it's more than just an all-natural superfood for plants. It's a proprietary blend of bioactive sea nutrients that contain the basic building blocks of life itself, which is why Proto-Grow even renews your garden by increasing the microorganisms in the soil. Learn more at growlikecrazy.com. That's growlikecrazy.com. Get special pricing for network listeners right now at growlikecrazy.com.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. Moments remain, and maybe enough time for you. If you dial in now at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So there was some pretty big news that came out this week regarding the Porcupine Freedom Festival.
Oh, right.
And that is going to have, I would say, an effect on Forkfest, which is, of course, the decentralized libertarian camping festival that sprang from, or forked.
Will this affect my pet phrase of pork and fork?
No.
Okay,
no,
cool.
Not.
Because I like my pet phrase.
The news that was announced this week, it was Carla Garrick from the Free State Project. She is the organizer of the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is the long-running libertarian camping festival that has been going on here in New Hampshire since, I think, like 2003 or something like that. It's been going on for a while.
Long time.
And some would argue that it had jumped the shark somewhat over the last several years, and there were some frustrations with the event, and I think they've made the right choices. And to some extent, they were forced into making the right choices by certain circumstances, but nonetheless, they made the right choices. And what they've done is they've done some decentralization of the Porcupine Freedom Festival.
Oh.
And so the way that's going to look is that the Porcupine Freedom Festival this year, which I believe is happening June 22nd through the 28th. And, of course, Forkfest is happening immediately afterwards from the 29th through July 5th. So you got 2 weeks, basically, in the woods of northern New Hampshire. But what they've changed is that it used to be that the Porcupine Freedom Festival sort of took over the whole campground. They made it so that if you wanted to be on the campground, if you weren't like one of the park renters who's there the whole season,
right,
you essentially had to have a Porcupine Freedom Festival pass, and they would like give out passes to the park renters, basically. So if you didn't have a pass, you couldn't get into the campground, basically. That's going to change this year. It's going to go back to the old days where anybody could camp on the campground, and you don't have to have a ticket to the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Tickets are being reduced in price instead of this constant upping in price that had been happening over the years. Right. They kept adding speakers and adding features and raising the price. Well, now they've cut back. They're still going to have a couple of featured speakers that they were planning on having, but it's going to be $25 for the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which I don't remember the last year it was that affordable.
Yeah.
They're also scaling down the size of the event as well. So it's only going to take place in the area of the pavilion. If you're familiar with Rogers Campground, you are not, Captain. I know you've never been. But there's a pavilion and there's like a field right outside.
I've seen the videos.
There's tents and things like that set up there. So I think they're going to keep that area. That's going to be the Porcupine Freedom Festival.
It's intense.
Well, I don't know how intense it'll be, but it will be intense. And there's also the
stealing my puns,
the pavilion and such. I suspect it'll be more likely to be family friendly because that's kind of the direction things have been going with the Porcupine Freedom Festival. They've scaled it down. It's going to be in a smaller portion, which means that anybody who wants to can camp without going to the Porcupine Freedom Festival. So that technically means that Fork Fest can expand to 2 whole weeks now. And if you want to attend Fork Fest, you can actually attend Fork Fest during the Porcupine Freedom Festival if that's something you want to do.
That truly is intense.
So that's the big change. I think that some people, of course, people believe different things, and Fork Fest is decentralized. So there's some people who are like, well, we think Fork Fest should be by itself. Fork Fest should be separated from the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Other people like Derek J., he's saying he's going to start celebrating Fork Fest on the first day of the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is cool. So I think I like the idea of it expanding and like taking the whole 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
well, and more decentralization is always better with this kind of a thing, in my mind.
You can call Fork Fest whatever week you want, or call it both weeks or the second week or whatever.
Considering the decentralized nature of what is now called Fork Fest and has been called a whole variety of things, Shire Fest and
Somalia
Fest and a whole bunch of other things previously, you can have Fork Fest at your house if you want.
Not going to be as much fun, though, because I don't know if anyone's going to show up to that one.
Probably not.
But this one last year was well attended. We'll see how it goes this year. We've been encouraging
it keeps
folks.
growing.
Well, but I'll tell you this. Crosby, who's the owner of the park, has said that the reservations are down across the board.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people are concerned.
I don't know if it's going to grow this year, but at the very least, it's going to happen.
I did get a call from them. I missed the call. They left a message. I called them back and left them a message. So just basically, hey, this is Rogers Campground. And then I called it back. I'm like, if it's about my reservation, I'm still good.
Okay, good.
Call me if you need anything else. They haven't called back. So I think we're okay.
Yeah, so it's going to happen. Having spoken with the owner of the campground, it is definitely a go. And because of these new rules, it looks like we could broadcast for 2 weeks instead of just one, since we couldn't be prohibited from the grounds on the campground at this point.
You're all going to die of the COVIDs.
Freedom Festival. And you know what? Risk is what life is about, Mark. And if you
That's
don't
right.
take risk,
I love this statement that in these uncertain times, just a little reminder, there've never been certain times.
That's a great point.
Like there just never has, right? There is a risk of dying from some ethereal virus previously. I mean, look up spinal meningitis. My God, it's terrifying.
Actually, the only certain times that I have experienced myself is when somebody says, hey, we're going to play this cover song, and it's in 4/4, and it's at 120 beats per minute. Those are certain times.
No, that is pretty certain.
Because then you know that the music is going to be what it is for the next 4 minutes. All right, so let's go back to your calls. Oh, by the way, Fork Fest. You want to go to forkfest.party. There's some links to chat room and forums. Nobody really uses the forums anymore, but they're there in case you want to use them over at forkfest.party. We go to your calls and thoughts. Jeff is in Mobile, Alabama, listening to WAVH-FM. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, I just had a thought. I just want to get y'all's opinion on something.
Sure.
I'm not against people getting unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when
they
all
paid
this
into
went
it.
down, when all this started, they added on that 600 across the board, from what I understand, to everybody's. And so everybody was getting, like in Mobile, like I had a friend that was laid off. He was basically on minimum wage getting like $275.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's making, like he wasn't even making, but like probably $400 to $500 before. Now he's getting like $875 a week.
Right.
$875 a week in Mobile, Alabama is darn good money.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't have no problem with people getting unemployment. Now, here's another thing that's going on now. Now that the businesses are opening back up, a lot of people are not even wanting to go back to work because the money they're getting off unemployment is more than the money they were making.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you are correct. What they're doing is they're incentivizing people to not return to work, further crippling the economy.
What? Let me ask you this. I'm not against unemployment. Trust me, I'm not. I know that a lot of people need it, but I just don't know what was the thought process. And I'm not against. I'm a Trump supporter. But I was just wondering what was the thought process that went into the $600. Like, where did they come up with that?
They pulled it out of their butt.
You want my cynical opinion is that Trump sees an opportunity to hand out money
Buy
to
some votes.
a lot of voters out there, and people who get money tend to be, I don't know,
loyal,
a little grateful. And if they're feeling grateful, maybe they'll feel grateful in November when it's time to vote. And so, he can hand out tax money in order to get some extra votes. Now, I'll admit, our choices aren't going to be great in all likelihood come November, so I'll forgive you for whomever it is you choose to vote for. But,
it could be Vermin Supreme.
You asked me for my opinion. I will vote for Vermin Supreme.
A heartbeat. Hey, Jeff, thanks for calling, man. I appreciate hearing from you tonight, dude.
I do want to point out, and I think I keep saying this, and I don't remember if I've said it on the air before. I don't think I've said it to Mark, and I think that he'll agree. But what we're seeing is the largest implementation of socialism in the United States. I believe that is what we are seeing now.
It's straight authoritarianism for sure.
Right.
I mean,
or perhaps communism. I'm not sure which one.
Because isn't fascism where the government regulates business so insane, right? Like this is kind of fascist too, isn't it?
Right. Like if Trump weren't the mouthpiece for what's going on right now, I think everybody else would see it for what it is, right?
Because I don't see a lot of change in state ownership of the means of production. So somebody who wants to use a strict definition of what socialism is, but if you start talking about democratic socialism and these terms, it gets much more murky.
But this is micromanagement of an economy.
Authoritarian statism,
right?
And no one can argue that one,
right?
Like one of the problems with using any of the terms, socialism or whatever, is that people get hooked on them. That's not socialism. That's state capitalism or whatever nonsense.
I guess what I'm saying is, what in my mind anyway, the evidence seems to suggest that we are seeing the implementation of the dependence on government at a scale we have never seen before.
Yeah, and it's not going to roll back.
Think about this for a second. If somebody lives in a household where somebody gets a check from the government, what percentage of people in America live in a household where somebody is getting a check from the government?
It's going up, whatever it was. It was high before. It was like, what, half or something like that?
Yeah, probably more than
including
half.
contractors and people like that.
Sure.
Out of time tonight. If you didn't get on, call tomorrow because we'll be here again. Mark's going to head up the Sunday show tomorrow. You can join us online in the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20, mymagicmud.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191.
641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live listen line, 641-793-0191.
Questioning authority.